Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever felt like you're just, drowning in information, wishing there was a shortcut, like a way to get to those aha moments that really make you feel informed, ready for what's next?
Uh-huh. That feeling of being overwhelmed by data.
Exactly. Well, today we're diving into something that's not just making waves, it's genuinely reshaping how businesses think, plan, operate.
Really foundational stuff.
Yeah. AI-driven decision making
Hmm.
and how it's transforming enterprise strategies. Our mission today, it's pretty crystal clear. We want to pull out the most potent nuggets of knowledge from the sources we've dug into,
Right.
specifically insights into how artificial intelligence is enhancing, augmenting, maybe even redefining decision making across all sorts of enterprises.
Hmm.
This deep dive, it's designed to give you a direct path, a shortcut really, to understanding how organizations, from the little guys, the startups, all the way up to the Fortune 500
Yeah,
giants,
the whole spectrum.
how they can strategically leverage AI to make decisions that are truly beta-driven, not just for like operational efficiency, but to get a real competitive advantage.
But that's key, the advantage part.
We're going to cover a lot, from real-time analytics, where decisions happen in milliseconds,
Super fast stuff.
all the way to the more sophisticated world of predictive and even prescriptive modeling that helps chart the course years out.
That's right. And, in today's business landscape, which is just incredibly fast-paced, data-saturated, AI has really emerged quickly. It's become this powerful, almost, you could say, indispensable tool for enhancing decision-making
Yeah.
right across the board.
Indispensable, that's a strong word, but probably accurate for many now.
I think so. So whether you're, say, a leader prepping for a critical board meeting, maybe a technical specialist trying to keep up with the latest in the field, or honestly just someone who's insanely curious about where business and tech are headed.
Which covers a lot of our listeners, I bet.
Exactly. This deep dive is really crafted for you. We want to help you navigate and really understand the intricacies, the huge opportunities, and, yeah, let's be honest, the complexities too.
It's not all simple.
Not at all. The complexities AI brings to enterprise strategy. We're trying to bridge that gap between the purely technical capabilities and the big picture strategic imperatives.
And our source material, it has a strong focus, right, on connecting developers and technical management.
It does. It really emphasizes that connection, which is great because it means we get to explore diverse and, frankly, critical angles on this whole transformation. It's not just one viewpoint.
Okay, so if we're talking AI and decision making today, where do we even begin? What does the landscape actually look like on the ground? Is it still mostly experiments, or is this stuff already, deeply embedded?
That's the perfect starting point.
Yeah.
And what we find when we assess that current landscape, it's really far beyond just experimentation now. AI is, I'd say, deeply integrated into all sorts of workflows for decision support across quite a few sectors already.
Right.
So when we look at the tools and technologies that are widely in use, we're talking about a pretty broad and definitely evolving spectrum. But there are clear trends.
Such as what?
Well, enterprises are integrating these AI capabilities in multifaceted ways. Some are definitely leaning towards specialized off-the-shelf software solutions.
The quicker route.
Yeah, often quicker deployment. They come with built-in best practices, that sort of thing. Others, though, especially in highly sensitive or competitive areas, they're investing heavily, building custom, bespoke AI systems tailored exactly to their unique needs and data.
More control, more specific.
Exactly. And then you've got a lot of companies leveraging the big general-purpose platforms, think the major cloud providers. They offer a whole suite of AI capabilities, which lets companies build and scale their applications maybe more flexibly.
So different paths in. What are the common entry points then? Where does AI typically first show up?
Good question. The entry points are pretty varied. We definitely see AI-powered modules getting integrated directly into existing BI, business intelligence platforms.
Turning reports into something more dynamic.
Exactly. Transforming those static reports into dynamic, really interactive dashboards.
Yeah.
ERP systems, enterprise resource planning, that's another huge entry point.
Makes sense. That's where a lot of the core data lives.
Right. AI can optimize everything in there, from supply chain logistics to financial forecasting.
Can you give an example, like a hypothetical?
Sure. Let's take, say, a large manufacturing firm. They might use an off-the-shelf AI-powered demand forecasting module that plugs right into their ERP.
Okay.
Now, this module, it doesn't just look at past sales figures. That's old school. It analyzes external factors, economic indicators, maybe social media trends for product sentiment,
Oh,
even
okay.
hyperlocal weather patterns, potentially,
Yeah.
to predict demand for specific components or finished goods.
So it's much broader data.
Much broader. And this shifts their decision-making fundamentally from reactive, oh, sales dipped last month, to proactive, we see conditions changing, let's adjust now.
So they can adjust production schedules, ordering, inventory.
All of it, much more efficiently. It's really about moving from just basic analytics, looking backwards, to truly intelligent insights that support faster, much more informed decisions, often on a massive scale.
That's a great overview of the tools and how they get in. What about the adoption rates? What are the key indicators, maybe statistics even if implied, that show this growing reliance you mentioned across industries?
Yeah, you're right. Pinning down precise global stats on AI adoption is tricky. They fluctuate constantly, and single sources rarely capture the whole picture definitively.
It moves too fast.
It really does. But the consistent emphasis in our materials on growing reliance, that phrasing comes up again and again. It strongly points to a significant and, I'd say, accelerating upward trend across basically all sectors.
Okay, so it's widespread growth. Can we infer why some industries seem to be sprinting ahead?
We can. The inference is pretty clear.
Yeah.
Industries that are just inherently data-rich
Right.
and are grappling with really complex operational challenges, they're often the fastest adopters. Think about financial services.
Obvious candidate, tons of data.
Exactly. Vast amounts of transactional data, the need to detect fraud or manage risk in real time, that's a perfect fit.
Yeah.
Or look at retail.
Also huge data volumes.
Incredible volumes. Customer behavior, inventory data. They're striving to personalize experiences, optimize complex supply chains. AI is a natural fit there too.
And healthcare.
Healthcare as well. Mountains of patient records, diagnostic images, research data. They're rapidly adopting AI for everything from helping with disease detection to speeding up drug discovery.
So what are the common drivers behind this rush in those sectors?
Well, it's multifaceted. First, there's just intense competitive pressure,
Keeping up with the Joneses, business style?
pretty much. If one company in your industry starts gaining a significant edge using AI, maybe cutting costs, boosting customer retention, getting products out faster, their rivals basically have to follow suit or risk falling behind.
Survival instinct?
Absolutely. Second, the sheer volume and, importantly, the accessibility of data plays a huge role. The more data an industry generates, the more, well, fertile the ground is for AI algorithms to find patterns, make predictions, extract value.
Makes sense. More fuel for the engine.
Right. And lastly, regulatory needs can actually be a powerful driver too, especially in highly regulated sectors like finance and healthcare.
How so?
Well, AI can automate things like compliance checks, improve auditability, enhance risk management, basically making it easier, more efficient to meet those stringent legal requirements.
Okay, so competitive pressure, data availability, and regulations. What does the high adoption in these specific sectors tell us about the bigger picture, the broader economy?
It tells us that AI integration isn't just happening, it's really on an accelerating trajectory. Best practices and, crucially, proven benefits from these early adopters get disseminated quickly. They influence adjacent industries, and eventually the ripple effect covers the entire economic landscape. It's definitely spreading outwards. And what's truly fascinating here, I think, is how AI isn't just, another layer of technology slapped on top. It's actively reshaping the very fabric, the structure of organizations themselves.
How do you mean the structure?
Well, integrating AI deeply isn't just about adding a new software tool. It often leads to fundamental shifts in existing organizational hierarchies, in operational models.
Ah, okay.
We're seeing a pretty distinct movement towards flatter organizational structures.
Flatter. Why?
Because AI systems can automate many of those routine, rule-based decision-making tasks. The things that once required multiple layers of human oversight and approval. AI can handle a lot of that now.
Right, freeing people up.
Exactly. It frees up human talent from junior analysts right up to middle managers to focus on more strategic, creative, uniquely human problem solving. Less repetitive data crunching.
That sounds good in theory. Does it create new roles too?
Oh, absolutely. This transformation inevitably creates entirely new roles within companies. We're seeing the emergence of positions like machine learning operations engineers, MLOps engineers. They manage and deploy AI models at scale.
Okay, that's specialized.
Very. Or roles like data translators. These are people who can effectively bridge that communication gap between the highly technical AI specialists and the business stakeholders.
Making sure everyone's speaking the same language, essentially.
Precisely. Ensuring AI solutions are actually aligned with strategic goals. And these shifts, they also profoundly impact team dynamics.
How so?
Successful AI implementation often demands highly collaborative cross-functional teams. You need to blend the domain experts, the people who really understand the business context, with the AI specialists who have the technical know-how.
Breaking down silos.
Absolutely crucial. And this demands a significant evolution in skill sets right across the board. The focus shifts. It moves away from purely manual data analysis towards more sophisticated oversight, critical interpretation, and the strategic application of AI-generated insights.
So for you, the listener, what does that mean practically?
It means taking a critical look at how your current skills might need to adapt. Are you comfortable interpreting, say, dynamic data visualizations coming from an AI? Can you critically evaluate an AI's recommendation within your area of expertise?
Good questions to ask yourself.
Definitely. Understanding and preparing for these changes can profoundly impact not just your team's effectiveness, but your own career path as AI continues to embed itself deeper within your industry.
It's clear AI is way more than just tech. It's this profound organizational shift. And it really feels like, as you were saying, it's not just about the technology, is it? We've all heard stories, maybe seen companies that invest heavily in the latest AI tools, but if the underlying culture isn't there, if the mindset isn't right, those initiatives often just fall flat. So how crucial is creating a culture that genuinely embraces data-driven decision-making for AI to actually work?
You've absolutely hit on a fundamental point there. We connect this to the bigger picture. Creating that culture, one that truly embraces data-driven decision-making. It's not just crucial. I'd argue it's probably the single most important prerequisite for successful, sustainable AI implementation.
More important than the tech itself.
Arguably, yes, in the long run.
Right.
You could pour millions into the most cutting-edge AI tools available. But if your teams, your people, don't understand the intrinsic value of data, if they aren't comfortable interpreting it, or maybe they lack trust in the insights the AI generates,
Right, the human element.
then those huge investments simply won't yield their full potential. They risk becoming very expensive shelfware.
Okay, so culture is king. How do you foster that mindset then, that valuing of data? It starts with literacy, you mentioned?
It absolutely starts with literacy, and I mean a deeper literacy than just knowing how to, open a spreadsheet or run a basic report.
Right, more than just the mechanics.
Much more. It's about understanding where data comes from, its inherent limitations, because all data has limitations, its immense potential, and critically, how to interpret it contextually and with a critical eye.
So what strategies work for promoting that deeper literacy?
Well, specific effective strategies often involve pretty comprehensive training programs, but they need to go beyond just basic technical skills. The aim should be to instill a pervasive data-first mindset, and that needs to happen at all levels of the organization. Exactly. For instance, organizations can really encourage curiosity and critical thinking around data through, say, hands-on internal workshops. Get cross-functional teams together, have them collaboratively analyze real-world business problems using the data that's actually available. That fosters shared understanding.
Learning by doing, basically.
Yeah, and establishing data champions can be incredibly effective.
Tell me more about data champions.
These are individuals, maybe within different departments, who are just naturally passionate about data. They act as internal evangelists. They can guide their peers, answer questions, build enthusiasm.
Like internal influencers for data?
Kind of, yeah. And then just making data universally accessible and understandable. Using intuitive, well-designed dashboards helps demystify it. It encourages more people to actually engage with the insights, to ask probing questions. It lowers the barrier to entry for data engagement.
That's a great point about data champions. So looping back to leadership then, what does this all mean for them? What's management's critical role in driving this whole cultural shift towards data-driven decisions and AI adoption?
Management's role is, well, it's absolutely critical. You could almost say it's non-negotiable if you want this to succeed systemically.
It has to come from the top.
It really does. It's simply not enough to just issue a mandate or buy some software.
Yeah.
Leaders have to embody the change they want to see.
Walk the talk.
Exactly. That means actively, visibly using data in their own decision-making processes, openly discussing how specific data insights inform their choices, demonstrating a genuine, consistent commitment to a data-driven approach in every strategic conversation.
Can you give an example of that?
Sure. A senior executive might start every quarterly review meeting by presenting the key performance indicators, explaining where the data came from, and then asking teams directly, how do your proposals align with or perhaps challenge these data trends? That sets a really powerful precedent.
Actions speak louder than words.
Definitely. And beyond personal example, management has the power to put concrete policies and incentives in place. Things that actively encourage data adoption and AI integration.
Like what kind of policies?
Well, you could integrate data literacy and maybe even AI application skills into performance reviews for everyone. You could reward teams that demonstrate effective, innovative use of data to solve real problems. Or provide dedicated time and resources for comprehensive data-related training and pilot projects. Give people space to learn and try.
Okay. And you mentioned communicating the why.
Crucial. Management needs to articulate and consistently communicate the why behind all these data and AI initiatives. People are just far more likely to adopt new ways of working if they deeply understand the strategic benefits.
How it helps the company, how it helps them.
Right. How it measurably improves customer experience, or dramatically boosts operational efficiency, or enables totally new product development, or creates new market opportunities. The tangible benefits.
So, for a listener, if you're in leadership, what are some immediate steps?
If you're in a leadership position, actionable steps you could take today include sponsoring a pilot AI project in your area, publicly celebrating data-driven successes, big or small, in team meetings or company-wide communications, and ensuring that all strategic discussions fundamentally begin with insights derived from data, not just gut feel.
And if you're not in leadership, can you still make a difference?
Absolutely. If you're not in a formal leadership role, you can still advocate for this culture shift. Consistently demonstrate your own data literacy. Proactively share relevant insights with your team. Highlight how data-driven approaches could visibly improve your collective work and outcomes. Be a data champion, even without the title. And, our sources consistently highlight examples of companies that have truly succeeded in building these robust, data-driven cultures. The tangible benefits they've reaped are really compelling.
Can you share some even general types of success?
Yeah, while specific company names aren't always the focus, the types of successes are remarkably consistent across different industries. For example, consider a major global logistics company.
Okay.
Through a combination of cultural commitment to data, really getting everyone on board, and using advanced AI for route optimization, they managed to cut their fuel consumption across their entire fleet by over 12%.
Wow, 12% is huge for a fleet.
It's massive. And it wasn't just about saving money on fuel, it significantly improved their carbon footprint and allowed them to deliver goods faster. So it impacts the top line, the bottom line, and sustainability.
And that required people trusting the AI.
Critically, it involved their dispatchers, trusting the AI recommendations, sometimes over their traditional manual planning methods, and actively providing feedback to help refine the AI models. That feedback loop was key.
Okay, another example. Maybe retail.
Sure. Or take a large e-commerce retailer. They used AI to deeply personalize the customer experience, going way beyond just those simple, "you might also like" recommendations.
That's deep.
Their AI system analyzed browsing history, past purchases, real-time clicks on the site, even external social media signals.
Social media, too.
Yeah, to dynamically adjust the layout of their website for each user, personalize product suggestions, tailor promotional offers, and even predict the optimal time to send a marketing email to each individual customer.
Highly personalized. What was the result?
They saw a remarkable 20% increase in customer engagement rates and a significant boost in sales conversion ratios, directly translating to increased revenue.
Those are serious numbers.
They really are. And these aren't just isolated anecdotes. They represent fundamental systemic improvements in efficiency, customer satisfaction, and ultimately competitive advantage, all stemming from that cultural shift towards valuing, trusting, and actively using data and AI in everyday decision-making. The impact is real, measurable, and truly transformative.
Those are powerful examples, really illustrating that culture is the bedrock. Okay, now that we understand that cultural groundwork, let's get into the engine room, right? The mechanics of it all. Different AI techniques offer unique capabilities. Can you walk us through some of the main ones and how they apply to improving decisions?
Absolutely. Yeah, once that cultural foundation is solid, you can really start leveraging the distinct strengths of various AI techniques. When we talk AI for better decision-making, three core areas pop up constantly: machine learning, neural networks, and natural language processing, or NLP.
Okay, let's start with machine learning, ML.
Right. Machine learning, at a high level, it's about building systems that learn from data. They learn to identify patterns, make predictions or classifications without being explicitly programmed for every single possible scenario.
Learning from experience, basically.
Exactly. For enterprise decisions, it helps extract insights from huge data sets. For example, classifying customer segments based on buying behavior, predicting the likelihood someone might stop being a customer churn, or forecasting equipment failures in a factory.
Predicting problems before they happen.
Precisely. Imagine a bank using ML to spot weird spending patterns that might signal credit card fraud. It goes beyond simple rule-based checks to detect much more sophisticated, subtle schemes.
Okay, so that's ML. What about neural networks? They sound more
They
complex.
are a fascinating subset of machine learning, yeah? They're designed to loosely mimic the structure and function of the human brain, with layers of interconnected nodes or
It's
neurons.
like a digital brain, sort of.
Very loosely, yes. Their real power lies in handling extremely complex patterns and massive, often unstructured data sets, like images or raw text. This makes them particularly good at intricate predictions and feature extraction.
Where might they be used?
They excel where traditional ML might struggle. Things like identifying subtle anomalies in medical images, processing complex financial market signals for high-frequency trading, or understanding speech patterns for voice assistants. Their multi-layered structure lets them learn these hierarchical representations of data, finding deep relationships other methods might miss.
Got it. And the third one, natural language processing, NLP.
NLP focuses on enabling computers to understand, interpret, and even generate human language. In a business context, this is just invaluable because of the explosion of unstructured text data businesses deal with daily.
Emails, reviews, reports.
Exactly. Think about analyzing thousands of customer reviews automatically, summarizing lengthy legal documents in seconds, or pulling key company names or product mentions from market research reports.
Processing text at scale.
Precisely. NLP allows businesses to understand sentiment, are customers happy or angry, identify crucial information quickly, or categorize vast amounts of text accurately. Each of these techniques, ML, neural nets, NLP, offers a powerful, unique lens to analyze different data types and, critically, inform better, faster, more nuanced decisions. Now, this raises an important question, something that often confuses people. Lots hear machine learning, but maybe don't grasp the core distinctions in how these models are actually trained. Can you clarify the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning? These are two really critical approaches.
Yeah, that would be helpful. Supervised versus unsupervised.
Okay, so the fundamental distinction really comes down to how much guidance the algorithm gets during its training phase. Supervised learning is kind of like learning with explicit feedback, or having a clear answer key.
Learning with a teacher.
Exactly. You train the algorithm using labeled data. That means for every input you give it, the correct output or answer is already known and provided.
Give me an example.
Okay, say you're building a system to predict if a customer will click on an online ad. You feed it historical data, where you know exactly which customers did click and which ones didn't. The algorithm learns from these correct answers, finding the relationships between the input features like demographics, browsing history, and that known outcome, clicked or didn't click.
So you use it when you know the answer you're looking for.
Right. You choose this approach when you have historical data with known outcomes, and your goal is to predict a specific future outcome. Things like predicting loan defaults, classifying emails as spam, forecasting sales figures. You're essentially teaching the machine to map inputs to outputs based on clear examples.
Okay, that's supervised. What about unsupervised?
Unsupervised learning, on the other hand, is more like learning without a teacher, without an answer key. You feed the algorithm unlabeled data. Its main job is to find hidden patterns, structures, or inherent relationships within that data, all on its own, without any prior knowledge of what those patterns might be.
Finding patterns we didn't know were there.
Exactly. Imagine you give it a huge data set of customer purchase histories. It might automatically group customers into distinct segments based purely on their buying habits, even though you didn't tell it beforehand what those segments should look like. It discerns these natural clusters organically.
So when would you use unsupervised?
You choose this approach when you want to explore complex data, discover unknown structures, maybe reduce the complexity of data, or identify unusual anomalies. For decision-making, supervised learning is great for precise prediction and classification answering what will happen. But unsupervised learning is invaluable for tasks like customer segmentation, finding weird behavior in cybersecurity logs, or compressing data. It helps reveal insights and structures you might not have seen otherwise, uncovering new opportunities or risks.
NLP is truly fascinating, as you said, because it interacts with us so often, sometimes without us even realizing it. Smartphones, customer service bots. What are some really strong real-world applications where it truly shines in providing direct decision support for businesses?
Oh, NLP really shines when it transforms that absolute deluge of unstructured text data businesses generate into actionable insights. It provides direct decision support in so many ways. One incredibly powerful application is sentiment analysis on customer feedback.
Understanding how customers feel automatically.
Exactly. Imagine a huge telecom company. They get thousands of customer reviews, daily social media, forums, app store comments, call center transcripts,
A mountain of
a
texts.
mountain. Manually analyzing all that for sentiment, positive, negative, neutral, and identifying specific pain points or things people love. It's just impossible at scale.
Right.
NLP algorithms can process all that text in real time. They extract the emotional tone, identify key topics being discussed, even recognize tricky things like sarcasm or nuanced complaints.
So what can the company do with that?
It allows decision makers to quickly understand shifts in customer satisfaction, pinpoint emerging product flaws before they become huge issues, or recognize unmet customer needs. That leads to more agile product development, more targeted marketing, quicker service improvements, better decisions, faster.
That's powerful. Any other examples?
Another significant one is advanced document summarization and entity extraction, especially for market research or competitive intelligence.
Sifting through reports.
Yeah, analysts often have to wade through massive amounts of reports, news articles, financial disclosures, research papers. NLP can automatically summarize these lengthy documents, pull out the key themes, identify named entities like companies or products, extract the core arguments, providing a concise overview very quickly.
Saving a ton of time.
Immense amounts of time. And it allows strategic decision makers to quickly grasp the essence of complex information. That facilitates faster, more informed market entry strategies, competitive analyses, or investment decisions.
And chatbots. Are they just for simple questions?
Increasingly, no. Sophisticated chatbots and virtual assistants powered by advanced NLP can handle not just routine customer service, but also act as internal knowledge management tools. They can help employees find HR policies or get technical troubleshooting advice. And crucially, the insights gathered from those interactions. What are the common questions? What problems need human help? What topics keep coming up can then be analyzed. This helps improve customer experience strategies, streamline internal processes, or even identify where new self-service options could be built. All these applications feed directly into making better, faster, more comprehensively informed strategic decisions. Now, many people get the idea of predictive analytics forecasting the future. But prescriptive analytics seems to take AI's utility a significant step further. Can you break down that distinction, predictive versus prescriptive, and what it really means for enterprise decision-making?
Yeah, what's the difference and why does it matter?
Absolutely. The distinction is really crucial for understanding the highest value AI can bring to the table. Predictive analytics, like the name suggests, primarily focuses on forecasting future outcomes. It uses historical and current data to answer the question, what will happen?
Like the weather forecast for business.
That's a good analogy. A predictive model might tell a retail chain, hey, sales of product X are predicted to jump 15% next quarter in your East Coast stores. Or a hospital might use it to predict there's an 80% chance this specific patient will need readmission within 30 days based on their profile.
So it gives you foresight.
Exactly. Incredibly valuable foresight. It empowers businesses to anticipate trends, identify potential risks, spot emerging opportunities. It's about knowing what's likely coming down the track.
Okay, so what does prescriptive add?
Prescriptive analytics moves beyond just that foresight to offer concrete, actionable guidance. It doesn't just predict what will happen, it actually recommends specific actions you should take to achieve desired outcomes or mitigate the risks it identified.
So it answers, what should we do?
Precisely. It addresses that critical question, what should we do about it? Building on those examples, the prescriptive model might tell the retail chain, okay, to capitalize on that predicted 15% sales increase for product X, you should proactively order 700 more units, maybe adjust your promotions to offer a 10% discount on related items, and reallocate marketing spend to these specific zip codes.
It gives concrete instructions.
Right. Or for the hospital patient, it might suggest to cut that 80% readmission risk, you should schedule a follow-up telehealth call within 72 hours, prescribe this personalized medication adherence program, and arrange for a visiting nurse.
Wow, very specific.
Yeah, the added value of prescriptive analytics in guiding strategic decisions is immense. It transforms those raw insights into direct, optimized, sometimes even automated recommendations. It moves organizations beyond just knowing what will happen to understanding what should we do to achieve specific goals.
So it makes decision-making much more proactive.
Truly proactive. It helps optimize complex processes, allocate resources with much greater precision, dynamically adjust strategic plans in real time based on data. It effectively makes AI not just a foresight tool, but a genuine, proactive decision-making partner. It can automate and refine parts of the strategic process that used to be entirely manual and based on heuristics or gut feel.
Those are some powerful capabilities, and AI clearly promises so much. Yet we hear all the time, it's widely acknowledged, that integration isn't always, smooth sailing. What are the most common challenges, the hurdles companies consistently face when they try to bring AI into their core decision-making processes?
Indeed. While AI offers these transformative benefits, getting it integrated into complex enterprise decision-making processes, well, it's rarely without significant hurdles. Our sources consistently flag two common and often deeply intertwined pitfalls. First, foundational data quality issues.
Ah, the garbage in, garbage out problem.
Exactly. That principle applies with absolute rigor to AI. If the data you use to train your AI models is incomplete, inaccurate, inconsistent, maybe poorly structured, then the insights, the predictions, the recommendations generated by that AI will inherently be flawed, unreliable, potentially quite misleading,
Even with a great algorithm.
even with the most sophisticated algorithm. Think about a customer database with missing email addresses or inconsistent naming for product categories across different systems, or maybe incorrect timestamps in transaction logs.
Seemingly small things.
Right. Any of these seemingly small data errors can severely compromise how effective an AI system is. It can lead to suboptimal or even flat-out wrong business decisions. Ensuring clean, reliable, well-governed data is often one of the most time-consuming and frankly difficult parts of any AI implementation project.
Okay, data quality is number one. What's the other common pitfall?
Building on that, what's often equally challenging is ensuring the reliability and consistent performance of the AI models themselves, particularly when they encounter data in the real world that isn't perfectly represented in their training set.
So the model doesn't generalize well.
Exactly. If an AI model is predominantly trained on data from, say, one specific demographic group, or only under a limited set of operational conditions, it might perform inconsistently or inaccurately when it's applied to different but still valid situations.
Like speech recognition struggling with accents.
That's a perfect example.
Huh.
An AI trained mostly on native English speakers might perform poorly with diverse accents or non-native speakers. Now, this isn't necessarily an ethical failing in this context, but it's a practical one. The model's performance is suboptimal for a chunk of the user base.
Which leads to bad outcomes.
Right. Inefficient processes, frustrating customer experiences. These performance inconsistencies can arise from unrepresentative training data or maybe faulty assumptions made during the model's design or calibration. And the business consequences can be significant. Flawed decisions, inconsistent results for different customer segments, and ultimately it can erode trust in the AI system itself, which hurts adoption and ROI. It's a critical area demanding meticulous attention to data collection, model validation, and especially continuous monitoring after deployment.
That makes perfect sense. If inconsistent performance or unreliable data is such a risk, how then do we ensure the robustness, the reliable operation of AI? What does effective governance actually look like in this context? Is it just rules?
That's an absolutely critical point for long-term success.
Yeah.
Given that potential for unreliable data leading to inconsistent AI performance, having rigorous governance frameworks becomes, well, it's not just good practice, it's an absolute necessity. You need it to ensure robust, trusted operation of AI systems within the enterprise.
So what does governance really mean for AI?
At its core, it means establishing clear lines of accountability for AI system outcomes. Who is responsible when an AI makes an inconsistent or suboptimal decision? You need to know that.
Accountability. Got it.
It also requires a significant emphasis on transparency. You need to be able to understand how an AI model arrived at a particular prediction or recommendation rather than it being a completely opaque black box.
Opening the black box.
Exactly. This relates closely to the whole field of explainable AI, or XAI. The goal there is to make AI decisions interpretable by humans so decision makers can actually trust and audit the results.
Okay. Accountability, transparency.
Yeah.
What else falls under governance?
Well, beyond just the performance issues we talked about, robust governance definitely includes ensuring data security and privacy. You have to safeguard sensitive organizational and customer data used by AI systems from breaches or misuse. That's table stakes.
And human oversight.
Paramount. Human oversight is absolutely key. AI should augment human decision-making, not replace it entirely. especially in high-stakes operational or strategic situations where human judgment, intuition, contextual understanding, those things are irreplaceable.
So for the listener, why should they care about AI governance, regardless of their role?
Because it impacts everyone. Caring about AI governance means questioning the data inputs for the models you interact with, understanding their inherent limitations, advocating for clear guidelines around how they're deployed and used.
Being a critical user.
Yes. If you're involved in developing or deploying AI, it means building robustness, transparency, accountability mechanisms right into the system's design from the very beginning. If you're a user, it means critically evaluating AI recommendations, understanding their potential operational impact, and knowing when to apply your own human judgment. This collective responsibility ensures AI remains a powerful, reliable tool that consistently delivers value, rather than causing problems. And, beyond those critical concerns of data quality and potential model inconsistencies, our sources also point to other common pitfalls that can easily derail AI implementation efforts.
What else trips companies up?
One really frequent issue is a fundamental lack of clear, well-defined objectives.
Starting without knowing the goal.
Exactly. Sometimes organizations jump into AI projects just because, everyone else is doing it, or because AI is the hot buzzword. They don't first rigorously articulate the specific business problems they're trying to solve or the measurable outcomes they aim to achieve.
Leads to wandering projects.
Precisely. It often leads to these diffuse projects that fail to deliver tangible, demonstrable value. And that, in turn, erodes internal support and budget for future AI initiatives. It poisons the well.
Okay, lack of clear goals. What else?
Another significant pitfall is an over-reliance on AI without sufficient human oversight.
Blind trust.
Kind of. While AI is incredibly powerful at processing vast data sets and fine patterns, human judgment, that intuition built from years of experience, contextual understanding those are still indispensable, especially in complex, ambiguous, or highly sensitive business situations. Blindly trusting AI recommendations without critical human review can lead to really unforeseen negative consequences or missed opportunities.
Need that human sanity check.
Always. And finally, insufficient change management within the organization. That stands out as a pervasive stumbling block.
The people side, again.
Absolutely. Implementing AI almost invariably means significant changes. Changes to established workflows, to individual roles, to how teams interact. Without proper communication strategies, comprehensive training, dedicated support for employees during this transition, you get resistance, skepticism, or just a lack of understanding. And that can quickly derail even the most technically promising AI initiatives.
It's a holistic challenge then. Tech, data, culture, people, process.
It truly is. All those pieces need to align.
It's one thing to talk about these techniques and challenges in the abstract, but it's really another to see how AI genuinely transforms actual businesses in the real world. Let's look at some compelling case studies. These stories really bring the tangible benefits to life, especially when AI is applied thoughtfully and strategically.
Certainly. Yeah, let's start with a compelling, detailed case study from the retail sector, which is always dynamic. Imagine a major international apparel retailer. They weren't just struggling with inventory generally, but with the specific costly problem of dead stock. Out-of-season items, unpopular styles, things just sitting in the warehouse, tying up space and capital.
A common retail headache.
A huge one. So they implemented a sophisticated AI system. It focused not just on general demand forecasting, but specifically on granular, hyper-local inventory optimization and dynamic markdown prediction.
Going beyond just predicting sales.
Way beyond. This AI system analyzed a massive array of data points, detailed past sales data for individual product codes, seasonal trends, the impact of specific marketing campaigns, localized social media sentiment about fashion trends,
Wow.
even hyper-local weather patterns in different cities, and competitor pricing in real time. Just a huge mix of signals.
So what could it do with all that data?
By processing this complex, multi-dimensional data, the AI could predict, with far greater accuracy than traditional methods, which specific items would sell best, in which particular stores, and at what precise times of the year. But critically, it also identified items that were unlikely to sell at full price.
The dead stock candidates.
Exactly. And it recommended optimal markdown strategies, when to discount, by how much, and in which locations to clear that inventory efficiently without just giving it away.
Smart discounting. What were the results?
The measurable benefits were truly significant. They reduced their dead stock inventory by an astounding 28%.
28%.
Yeah, freeing up substantial capital and warehouse space. And simultaneously, they actually increased their full-price sales conversion rates for popular items because they ensured optimal stock levels of the things people did want.
Best of both worlds.
It really was. This led directly to millions in increased profit margins and a substantial improvement in their overall operational efficiency.
That's a clear demonstration of impact. Okay, let's shift gears. The financial world, inherently complex, immense data, high stakes, seems ripe for AI innovation. What's an example from financial services that powerfully showcases AI's capability and decision support?
Oh, financial services is a huge area for AI impact, particularly in the twin domains of, say, fraud detection and sophisticated risk assessment.
Makes sense.
Consider a major global payment processing network. They handle billions of transactions every single day.
Mind-boggling scale.
Right. Traditionally, their fraud detection relied heavily on static, rule-based systems. If a transaction met certain predefined criteria, a large amount, unusual location, it got flagged.
But fraudsters adapt.
Exactly. Sophisticated fraudsters quickly learned how to get around those fixed rules. So this network implemented an AI-powered real-time fraud detection system, and it revolutionized their approach.
How did AI work differently?
The AI analyzed every transaction in real time. It considered the user's typical spending patterns, their current geographical location versus past locations, transaction frequency, the type of merchant, the device being used, even subtle network anomalies.
Yeah.
Just a whole constellation of factors. It looked for subtle deviations that signal potential fraud.
Much more nuanced than simple rules.
Far more nuanced. This system used advanced machine learning, including deep learning models, trained on an enormous data set containing billions of legitimate and known fraudulent transactions.
And the improvement. Was it dramatic?
It was dramatic.
Yeah.
The AI could detect fraudulent transactions within milliseconds, often before the customer even realized their card details might have been compromised.
Wow, proactive detection.
Yes, and this led to a significant reduction in their annual fraud losses. For example, one figure mentioned was reducing fraud-related losses by 35% within just the first 2 years of full deployment.
35% is huge savings.
Massive. And beyond just flagging suspicious activity, the AI could also assign a granular risk score to each transaction. This allowed the network to make much more nuanced real-time decisions. Like maybe blocking a high-risk transaction outright, or initiating a real-time verification step with the cardholder for a medium-risk one, or just letting a low-risk one through seamlessly. This minimized false positives, blocking legitimate transactions, which drastically improved the customer experience. It fundamentally changed their operational decision-making around security and trust. And moving into healthcare, another critical area, AI is driving truly life-changing innovations in decision support, particularly in things like diagnostic assistance and operational optimization within hospitals.
Tell me about a healthcare example.
Okay, take a large hospital system. They were grappling with two big challenges:
Yeah.
the complexity of diagnosing rare conditions accurately and the immense difficulty of efficiently allocating resources, beds, staff, equipment across a sprawling network of facilities.
Common hospital challenges, scaled up.
Exactly. So they implemented an AI solution. This system leveraged vast amounts of anonymized patient data, medical history, high-resolution lab results, genomic information, real-time vital signs from monitors.
A complete patient picture, digitally.
A very complete picture. It used this data to provide sophisticated diagnostic support to clinicians, and it could recommend highly personalized treatment pathways.
How did the diagnostic support work?
Well, for a patient presenting with, say, ambiguous symptoms, the AI could analyze their unique profile against millions of similar anonymized patient cases from the past, plus relevant medical literature. It could then suggest potential diagnoses the clinician might consider, or even optimal drug dosages, taking into account that specific patient's characteristics and known responses to treatments.
Augmenting the doctor's expertise.
Precisely. And the impact on patient outcomes was profound. The AI helped reduce misdiagnosis rates for certain complex or rare conditions. That meant earlier, more precise, and therefore more effective interventions.
Life-saving potential there. What about the operational side?
It also significantly improved operational efficiency within the hospital system. It did this by optimizing patient flow, accurately predicting bed availability in different units like ICU or general wards, intelligently allocating specialist staff based on predicted need, and even scheduling surgeries more effectively to minimize wait times and maximize the use of expensive operating room resources.
So better care and better efficiency.
Exactly. These examples, though, from vastly different industries, retail, finance, healthcare, they really highlight common principles of successful AI adoption that you, the listener, could likely apply in your own field. It's about meticulously leveraging data for nuanced insights, relentlessly optimizing operations for efficiency and cost savings, and ultimately improving outcomes, whether for customers, patients, or the business itself. It's about building systems that reliably deliver superior results compared to traditional methods.
Those case studies beautifully illustrate what's possible today, where AI is already making a difference. We've looked at where we are, where we've seen success, but, technology never stands still. It relentlessly evolves. So what about the future? What does the horizon look like for AI in enterprise strategy? What's coming next?
Looking ahead. Yeah, the horizon for AI in enterprise decision-making is incredibly dynamic. It promises even more profound shifts than what we've seen so far. We're really on the cusp of significant advancements in the underlying AI technologies themselves, and these will further enhance decision-making capabilities.
Like what kind of advancements?
Well, firstly, we anticipate the emergence of even more sophisticated neural networks.
Hmm.
People sometimes talk about deep learning beyond just vision and language.
What does that mean?
It means AI models that can process increasingly complex multimodal data types seamlessly. Imagine AI combining insights from text documents, images, audio recordings, sensor data from equipment, all together, and recognizing intricate patterns across all those different data types, patterns that are currently beyond our grasp.
A truly holistic view.
Yes. Imagine an AI system that could analyze a company's entire digital footprint, from customer support call recordings to social media market sentiment to internal product development logs, to offer truly holistic strategic recommendations.
That's a big leap. What else is emerging?
Another critical emerging trend is the maturation of explainable AI, or XAI.
We touched on that with governance. Why is it so key for the future?
Because as AI systems become more powerful and complex, there's a growing business imperative, and often a regulatory one, to understand why an AI made a particular decision, not just what decision it made.
Need to trust it, need to audit it.
Exactly. XAI aims to make these complex models more transparent and interpretable. That's crucial for building trust, meeting accountability requirements, and allowing human experts to actually validate or debug AI recommendations effectively. Techniques like SHB values or LIME are gaining traction, helping teams understand which data features most influence in AI's output. That allows for better troubleshooting and optimization.
Any other key trends? Federated learning, quantum.
Yeah, federated learning is definitely gaining significant traction. This allows AI models to be trained on decentralized data sets. Think data sitting on different user devices or in different regional servers without the raw data ever needing to leave its source location.
Addresses privacy concerns.
Huge privacy and data residency concerns, yes.
Yeah.
While still leveraging the collective intelligence from all that distributed data. And then there's quantum AI, still in its early stages for sure.
The really future stuff.
Kind of. But its potential could revolutionize processing power, enabling analyses and optimizations that are currently just unimaginable, particularly for incredibly complex systems like global supply chains or intricate financial models. All these new technologies point towards faster, more accurate, and hopefully more transparent insights, deepening AI's role in really every facet of business. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, how AI influences strategy, it's going to fundamentally change not just those operational decisions, but the very nature of strategic planning and execution itself.
How so? Moving beyond just assisting.
Yes. We're rapidly moving beyond AI, merely assisting with day-to-day operational choices. It's becoming a core, proactive component of high-level enterprise strategy.
Can you paint a picture of that?
Imagine AI assisting in real-time scenario planning, allowing leaders to rapidly simulate the economic impact, the market reaction, the competitive response to various strategic choices under different possible future conditions, and doing it with unprecedented speed and accuracy.
Testing strategies digitally before committing.
Exactly. It will significantly augment risk assessment by identifying previously unseen correlations or potential vulnerabilities hidden across vast, disparate data sets that human analysts could simply never process manually.
Finding risks we didn't know we had.
Potentially, yes. We might even see the automation of certain highly strategic processes. Things like dynamic pricing adjustments across a global product portfolio, changing prices minute by minute in response to real-time market shifts.
Wow.
Or continuous automated supply chain reoptimization in response to sudden geopolitical events or natural disasters, adjusting flows automatically.
Taking humans out of some loops.
Further down the line, maybe even AI co-creating strategies with human leaders, not just presenting data, but actively identifying novel strategic options, uncovering entirely new market opportunities, or proposing counterintuitive competitive moves that human analysis alone might miss.
AI as a strategic partner.
That's the idea. It's not about AI replacing strategists. It's about profoundly expanding their cognitive capabilities, their insight, their agility, allowing them to focus on the truly creative, high-level strategic ideation and execution, while AI handles the incredibly complex, analytical heavy lifting.
That's a truly compelling vision of the future, a powerful partnership. But as AI gets even more deeply integrated, starts making or co-creating these increasingly strategic decisions, what new challenges might pop up, particularly concerning its broader impact on, say, existing roles or the safeguards needed against major missteps.
That's the crucial flip side, isn't it? As AI becomes more integrated and moves into these higher stakes decision-making arenas, new and intensified challenges will definitely arise. Organizations absolutely must proactively address them.
Like what? Job displacement is often mentioned.
That's a significant one. The widespread shift in skill requirements, and yes, consequently, potential job displacement, particularly in those analytical or administrative decision-making roles that heavily involve pattern recognition, data processing, or routine categorization tasks.
The tasks AI gets good at.
Exactly. Now, while AI is primarily designed to augment human capabilities, its growing sophistication means certain analytical tasks could be fully automated. This shifts the necessary human role towards oversight, creative problem definition, complex strategic synthesis, higher-order thinking.
So adaptation is key.
Absolutely. It necessitates proactive planning for large-scale reskilling and workforce transition programs within companies. Ensuring their talent can adapt is critical.
Okay, workforce shifts.
Uh,
What else?
Another challenge is the increasing complexity of these future AI systems themselves. This could actually exacerbate the black box problem we talked about,
Making it harder to understand them.
potentially. If these advanced AI models become so intricate that even their own developers struggle to fully grasp their internal decision-making logic, well, ensuring their consistent performance, debugging errors, auditing their outputs for reliability becomes exponentially harder. That lack of interpretability poses a significant hurdle for trust and accountability, especially in critical business operations.
And autonomous decisions.
Right. There's also the growing potential for fully autonomous decision-making in increasingly complex scenarios, maybe without sufficient human oversight baked in. In critical sectors, finance, healthcare, defense, completely autonomous AI decisions, while potentially very efficient, raise serious questions. Like, how do you mitigate unintended consequences? How do you ensure robust failure mechanisms? How do you maintain ultimate human control when unforeseen issues inevitably arise? Societies, regulators, they'll need to adapt rapidly. We might see new compliance standards specifically for AI system performance, transparency, accountability. The evolution will be less about if AI makes decisions and more about how humans design, govern, and interact with these systems to ensure they consistently serve organizational goals reliably and effectively. Ultimately, then, realizing AI's full potential, it isn't just about the tech itself, right? Not just the algorithms. It seems profoundly about the people behind it. Our source material really hammers this point. Technical teams and management need to work hand in glove, collaboratively. How can companies actually make that happen effectively in practice? Yeah, that collaboration piece is absolutely paramount. Effective, truly collaborative interaction between the technical teams, the developers, the data scientists and management, the business leaders. It's essential for unlocking AI's full potential in an enterprise.
So how do you foster it?
Well, one key strategy that consistently proves its value is implementing joint workshops and integrated training sessions.
Bringing everyone together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's often far more effective than segregating their training. Why? Because these joint sessions foster profound mutual understanding. Developers get invaluable insight into the core business needs, the strategic goals, the real-world operational problems management is trying to solve.
They see the why.
Right. And conversely, management gets a clearer, more realistic grasp of AI's actual capabilities, its limitations, which are just as important, the time frames involved, the technical complexities of building, deploying, maintaining these systems.
Demystifying it for them.
Yes. These sessions should cover topics from the basics of AI in a business context, maybe project management methods tailored for AI, and critically, how to articulate complex business problems in a precise way that AI solutions can actually address. Cultivating that shared vocabulary and deeper mutual understanding is absolutely crucial for kicking off and sustaining successful AI projects. And what's often fascinating here is tackling that fundamental challenge. ensuring that the highly technical AI capabilities being built truly align with the broader strategic business objectives.
The so what test for the tech.
Exactly. A technical team might develop an incredibly sophisticated, elegant AI model, but if it doesn't directly solve a pressing business problem or contribute to a key strategic goal or generate measurable value, its overall utility to the organization is pretty limited.
So how do you ensure that alignment?
Well, strategies for ensuring this critical alignment include, first and foremost, establishing a truly shared language. Business requirements need to be translated into clear, actionable technical specs. And just as importantly, technical limitations or new possibilities need to be communicated back in terms of their tangible business impact.
Bridging the communication gap.
Yes, it requires clear, bidirectional communication. Business folks need to articulate the why behind the what. And technical teams need to understand the strategic impact of their work, how their code, their models, their deployments directly contribute to the company's bottom line, or competitive advantage, or market position.
How can you structure that?
Well, alignment can be effectively achieved through mechanisms like forming truly cross-functional teams right from the start. Get business leads, product managers, technical leads working together iteratively from day one.
Integrated teams.
Yes. Implementing shared key performance indicators, KPIs, is also vital. KPIs that bridge both technical performance metrics like model accuracy or latency and direct business outcomes like customer retention or revenue growth.
Measuring what matters to both sides.
Right. And finally, holding regular strategic reviews that proactively include both technical and business leadership. This ensures ongoing alignment, allows for continuous adjustment and prioritization based on evolving business needs and what's actually possible technically.
That makes so much sense, really bridging that gap from both sides actively. So thinking about ongoing success then,
Yeah.
how do we build systems that continuously get better, that learn and adapt rather than just stagnating after the initial deployment?
For ongoing success and crucially continuous improvement in AI-driven decision-making, establishing robust feedback loops is absolutely essential. This isn't a one-time project that you deploy and forget. It's inherently an iterative evolutionary process.
So how does feedback from management help developers improve the AI?
Well, management, because they're closer to the operational results, the customer interactions, the market dynamics, they can provide invaluable feedback, both qualitative and quantitative, on how the AI-generated insights are actually performing in the real world.
Ground truth.
Exactly. Are the predictions consistently accurate under different conditions? Are the recommendations truly actionable and effective for the teams using them? Are there any unexpected or suboptimal side effects that maybe weren't captured in the original training data? This crucial real-world feedback allows the developers and data scientists to continuously fine-tune algorithms, retrain models with new or more representative data, and iterate on the solutions to enhance performance and reliability over time.
Okay, so business feeds back to tech. How does it work the other way? How can technical insights inform management's strategic adjustments?
That's just as important. Developers and AI specialists, because they see the inherent nuances and limitations in the data, they understand the performance characteristics of the AI models. Maybe they discover unforeseen capabilities of new AI techniques.
Right.
They can provide invaluable input back to management. They can inform strategic leaders about what's technically feasible now or soon, where critical data gaps might exist that are hindering better insights, or where entirely new AI capabilities might unlock unforeseen strategic opportunities, or fundamentally change a business process in a way management hadn't considered.
So tech informs strategy.
Right. This continuous bidirectional flow of information from the business front lines back to the tech teams, and from technical advancements and limitations back to strategic planning. That's precisely what drives continuous improvement in AI implementation. It ensures AI initiatives stay relevant, effective, and consistently improve their value delivery over time.
So for you, the listener, how can you contribute to these loops?
Regardless of your specific role, contributing means being actively engaged with AI outputs if you use them. Ask probing questions about their performance. Proactively share your observations and insights, both the good and the bad, with the teams responsible for AI development and deployment. You become a critical sensor in that AI ecosystem.
We've really covered a tremendous amount of ground in this deep dive.
Right.
From the current state of AI in enterprise decision-making to its really exciting, maybe slightly daunting future, and that absolutely crucial human element of collaboration. Okay, as we wrap up, let's try to distill this down to the core, actionable insights for our listener.
Okay, a quick recap of the top strategies for successful AI integration and better decisions. We've definitely stressed the critical importance of fostering a truly data-driven culture right throughout your organization, moving beyond just having the tools to genuinely valuing, understanding, and trusting data.
Culture first.
Absolutely. We've explored how different AI techniques, machine learning, neural networks, NLP, and that powerful distinction between predictive and prescriptive analytics offer unique capabilities to enhance pretty much every facet of enterprise decision-making.
A toolkit.
Right. We also highlighted the absolute necessity of proactively tackling those common challenges, like foundational data quality issues, and ensuring consistent model performance through robust governance and rigorous reliability checks.
Addressing the hurdles.
And finally, we really emphasize that non-negotiable continuous collaboration between the technical developers and business management as the cornerstone for realizing AI's full potential.
The human connection. Okay. And for you, the listener specifically, what are the practical, maybe immediate steps you could apply right now to help foster that data-driven culture and advance AI integration in your own organization?
Great question. For those maybe in development or more technical roles, key action items could include actively seeking to understand the deep business context of the data you're working with. Don't just look at its technical properties.
Understand the why.
Yes. Participate proactively in those cross-functional meetings. Genuinely ask why this AI model is being built, and practice translating technical limitations or possibilities into clear, understandable business terms for your colleagues.
Okay, and for those in management or leadership roles?
For management, practical steps involve visibly leading by example. Use data consistently in your own decisions. Champion organization-wide data literacy training. Provide the necessary resources and, crucially, encouragement for your teams to experiment with and embrace AI tools. Create that safe space to try.
And for everyone?
For everyone, I think the overarching goal is to strive to make data insights accessible, understandable, and actionable across the entire organization. Really work on breaking down those information silos. And maybe a simple framework or principle for fostering that ongoing collaboration between technical and business teams. It's really about implementing regular structured communication channels, places where both technical folks and business leaders consistently share progress, articulate challenges honestly, and exchange insights openly.
Like regular chickens.
Yeah, it could be monthly AI review meetings where model performance is discussed right alongside business KPIs, maybe dedicated collaboration channels on Slack or Teams, or quarterly strategic alignment workshops that explicitly bridge technical roadmaps with business objectives. The core principle is creating that truly continuous feedback loop. Business needs inform tech development, and tech advancements inform business strategy. That iterative, integrated approach is what ensures AI initiatives stay relevant, effective, and continuously improve their value delivery.
Throughout this deep dive, we've truly explored the transformative and, often nuanced impact of AI on enterprise decision-making. We've covered a lot understanding the current tools shaping businesses, the profound importance of embracing that data-driven culture, navigating the inherent challenges of integration. It's just abundantly clear that both developers and management have these critical, symbiotic roles to play in this ongoing evolution. We sincerely hope the insights shared today equip you, the listener, with deeper knowledge and practical understanding, enough to enhance your own strategic decision-making processes using the power of AI, whatever your role might be.
And if we connect this back to the bigger picture one last time, remember, the ultimate goal here is always to drive greater competitiveness, to foster innovation, and ultimately to secure lasting success within your enterprises. And that journey, it fundamentally starts with making informed, intelligent, and increasingly agile decisions. AI isn't just another piece of tech anymore. In the modern business landscape, it's rapidly becoming a strategic imperative for navigating complexity and seizing opportunity.
So as you go about your week, maybe consider this. If AI is fundamentally changing how decisions get made, not just making existing decisions faster or based on more data, but changing the process, what new kinds of questions should we as individuals, as organizations, start asking ourselves? Questions about the very nature of human expertise, our intuition, maybe even our creativity. How will your unique insights, your experience, your judgment combine with the power of AI to truly shape the decisions of tomorrow? Thanks for diving deep with us.